Today I'm going to show you a really basic workflow for the Kebab HS. The first thing you want to do in the workflow is measure your cup. These measurements will be entered on the printer during setup, and then we'll be using them in Illustrator to lay out our design. Please take a look at our supplemental kebab installation video on YouTube. This installation guide will give you a step-by-step process all the way from installing the kebab on the machines to measuring your cup to properly installing your first piece. This process might seem time-consuming, but it only really needs to be done once per new model cup. Even if you're printing the same type of cup over and over, it's still a good idea to remeasure it every once in a while, just in case there are any manufacturing changes. We're going to start with the image that we want to print. In this case, we're going to do a full wrap on the popular JDS camel cups. This means that we want the image size to reflect the circumference of the cup itself. We're going to aim for the larger size. So the first thing I want to do is transform the background. We're going to go to Edit the Artboard. And here, we're going to enter the measured diameter, which was 3.46 inches. And we don't have to do any math. We can just multiply it by 3.14 right in the measurement box. This calculation will give us the circumference of the opening. The print area of the cup is 6 inches, so we just enter 6. This will give us the size that the artboard should be to do a complete wrap. Since this is vector, we can easily resize this by entering one of the digits. In this case, I'm going to enter the height because it was 6 inches. And we're going to make sure to keep this linked constraint checked so that it modifies the width in the same proportion. Now we can center this image right on the artboard. I'm going to save this as a PDF because it makes it easier to work with the artboard size. File, save as. Now we're going to go into Rasterlink, and we're going to open this file into the printer, in this case a 7151 plus 2. We're going to select OK. It's loaded here. I'm going to bring this to the top by right-clicking, just so it's easier to work with at the very top. The first thing I want to do is check the profile. This cup has a little bit of curvature in addition to the tapering. So I want to select an LD profile. LD stands for long distance profiles. And what this does is it accommodates for any variation of the surface that's not flat. In this case, the LD2 profile will allow you to print up to 2.5 millimeters from the distance up to 4.5 millimeters compared to the normal 1.5 millimeters head gap that we usually recommend. What this does is it slows down the print just a little bit, enough to accommodate the extra distance the ink droplet has to travel. From here, we go to the Kebab tab. If you do not see a Kebab tab down here, you can add it to the 7151 by going to Printer Management, selecting the printer, and then going to Function icon. Here, you'll scroll down and see that there's a Kebab Jig Print tab. Make sure it's checked to activate it. As you can see, it has now appeared. And then we select the Kebab Edit check. Here we have a selection called input of diameter. This would normally calculate the size of the print required for a full wrap. However, this particular function is for the Kebab MK2L, not for the Kebab HS. Please be aware that this screen will look different depending on what Kebab option you have selected. You can either use the Kebab MK2L on the 7151 or 6042, or the new Kebab HS. For example, in this case, we will be printing on tapered media, so you do want to select the print on tapered media selection. From here, you can go ahead and print. This type of printing layers each channel separately. It'll print CMYK, white, and clear, even gloss, depending on the final look that you're going for. I'm going to show you one more tool available on Rasterlink Tools. Rasterlink Tools is a plugin that you can install from the Rasterlink installation CD, or you could download directly from Mimaki.com. The tool I'm going to show you today is called Kebab Warp. What this does is it pre-warps isolated logos like this to print them on a cup and have them be squared after printing. As you may know, if you print on a tapered object, the lines tend to skew a bit because of the shape of the cup. As you move from the top to the bottom of the cup, you actually reduce the amount of print area, which is why things tend to look angled. To use this tool, you select the object that you're going to print. This works better for isolated objects. It's not necessarily intended for full wraps. Select Warp Tool, and you enter the measured diameters from before. My default measurement system in Illustrator is metric, so I'm going to go ahead and enter it metric. This is the same measurement that I entered earlier, the 3.46 inches in millimeters. And then the design position is just asking you about how far from the bottom do you want it. I want it about 3 inches from the bottom, so I'm going to put in 76 millimeters. And then you hit OK. As you can see, this provides the 3 inches of space you need under it. And I'll zoom in so that you can see the pre-warp that it does. In this case, it's very slight, but once it's printed, it will look squared. You can save and open the image just like in the previous example, or you can use the Rasterlink function. This function allows you to save the image right into the printer's hot folder. This hot folder will be monitored by Rasterlink and automatically uploaded when you save it. As you can see, it's automatically opening, and the rest is just like the previous application. There's one more tip regarding the magnet light guards. These light guards are intended to block as much of the UV curing light as possible from the heads. In order to create these guards, we've provided contour rulers to help you measure the contour of the cup. You use it to measure the part of the cup that is sticking out above the kebab cover. By cutting it following the shape of the contour, you maximize the effectiveness of the light guards. We do recommend that you do it for every new cup that you intend to print on. For more detailed instruction, please follow the manual included with the Kebab HS. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for more advanced topics with the Kebab HS.